Pele is one of the best soccer players that's ever played the game, and unfortunately, he passed away at the age of 82. Kev, I mean, he's the originator. I mean, he was the original GOAT. I mean, king of the beautiful game. I mean, whatever sort of description that you want to place upon Pele in a positive light, he represented that, and probably more than that. And I mean, the guy won 3 World Cups for Brazil. I mean, he's the only player in the entire history of soccer to ever do that. I know that there's some great soccer players out there. I know Messi just won his first World Cup. Pele won 3. It's absolutely nuts, the level of consistency that he brought to the game. And I know he wasn't in our generation. He came before our time. But, somebody had to set the standard for where soccer is at now. And Pele was that guy as far as I'm concerned. So, Kev, just give me your overall thoughts on Pele's legacy. And unfortunately, it comes on his passing at the age of 82, though.
I mean, Kyle laid it out. 3 World Cups are obviously the original OG. I mean, the guy was able to carry a nation on his shoulders every. I mean, World Cups are every 4 years. He was able to keep that level of consistency for 12 years. I mean, he is arguably, if not literally, the greatest Brazilian soccer player of all time. I mean, people can make the argument now because, Neymar, in terms of being athletically gifted and his ability to touch the ball. But again, until Neymar is able to hoist 3 World Cups for his nation, I don't think that's going to be a conversation that people want to have. So, I mean, what he's been able to do for the sport of soccer, what he's been able to do afterwards in terms of for the community, for younger people across different countries, the impact that he's had overall to the game of soccer, how he's been able to communicate to the younger generation. I mean, Pele was an incredible role model in that sense, and what he was able to do for the game on and off of the field. But literally, I mean, it's like you said, when you talk about the Mount Rushmore of football, he is the first name you would probably think of outside of Ronaldinho, Messi, Ronaldo. I mean, like everybody has their different names for their goats, right? But you can't talk to a soccer fan, a soccer enthusiast, or a soccer connoisseur and not mention the name of Pele. So it is sad. It is unfortunate that his passing comes around the holiday season as well. But I mean, at 82 years old, I would assume based on what we've seen with the media, the internet, and what we were able to portray in some of his highlights, because obviously Kyle and I weren't around. I would say that he lived a pretty good life. So I mean, rest in peace to the greatest soccer player, and hopefully his legacy continues to live on, and many others.
Yeah, but I just want to give you just a quick rundown on what is on his own Wikipedia page. I just want to give you just a quick rundown of this. Yeah, he was listed in like the top. I think Time had a list of like the 100 most influential people of the 20th century. He was on that list. You know, I don't know how many human beings there were in the 20th century. There were a lot. The fact that he was in the top 100 is just utterly insane. It really kind of goes to show his impact that he brought not only to soccer, not only to Brazil, but the entire world based on just his overall stature from the game that he played. Kev, he played in 1,363 games. He scored 1,279 goals. He was basically scoring a goal a game. That average is utterly insane. And granted, I know that it was before our time. I fully understand that. But still, like, when you're scoring a goal a game, basically, that's insane. There's a very, very small minority of players that ever do that in any sport. In the world of soccer, I mean, it's utterly unheard of. And not only that, he was voted the player of the excuse me, he was voted world player of the century by FIFA. Not just of the decade, of the century. You go from 1901 to 1999 or 1900 to 1999. He's the number one guy. I mean, the name speaks for itself. I mean, like you said, Kev, I mean, the guy is without a doubt the greatest Brazilian soccer player that's ever played the game. And as far as I see it, depending on who you ask, if you talk to somebody who's probably like above 40, they're probably going to say Pele is the greatest soccer player ever, just because that was probably the person that they could identify with. And I think if you talk to somebody who's probably 40 and younger, it's probably Messi, since he just won that World Cup a couple of weeks ago with Argentina. But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to the game that is played right now, the modern day soccer, Pele is the originator of that. And it's kind of funny. Just I think we kind of get caught in this mindset of prisoner of the moment, where Messi is obviously getting a lot of shine and respect based on what he did with Argentina with winning one World Cup. The fact that Pele did it not once, not twice, but three separate times is utterly astonishing. And unfortunately, it takes his death for us to talk about him, just because we don't really talk about soccer a lot. But I think it kind of goes without saying. Pele is probably one of the most influential figures to come out of the sports realm ever. You know, there's been some great players that have come from respective sports, from different respective sports all across the world. Pele is one of those guys that is just iconic, not only just in Brazil but around the world. And I know that um, that his loss is definitely going to be it's going to be a tough hit for Brazil, just because of what his stature is to that country. But just to kind of wrap this up, Pele is just it's Pele. Like, his name speaks for itself. And honestly, I'll leave it like this. If I could just literally just name off somebody's name, and it's just their first name, and you know who it is, you don't even have to say the last name, that puts you in a whole different stratosphere.